Okay, so this is an important slide to remember. So the Department of Education actually calculates what's called the expected family contribution, also known as the EFC, to determine your financial aid eligibility. So um, in this case, what we're saying is that parents' income counts far more than savings. So in calculating the EFC, the expected family contribution, the U.S. Department of Education considers up to 47% of a parent's income, but only a maximum of 5.64% of their investments, even though it's earmarked specifically for college. So that's including the 529s. So, so what they say is the expected family contribution is really is what the government says is the minimum amount a student is expected to contribute toward the cost of college based on the parents' and students' income and assets. So it's the size of the family also counts, and the number of students in college. So if you have more students, yes, you're going to be spending a lot more money at one time, but your expected family contribution would be divided by the number of children. So federal financial aid is actually based on the expected family contribution, EFC, minus the dollar amount used to determine how much aid a student is eligible to receive. So again, as I said, if there's two students in college at the same time, the parents' portion of the family contribution gets split between each child. Um, so keep in mind too that the EFC there's three different formulas used to determine a student's expected family contribution. There's a federal, there's the institutional, and then there's the consensus method. So the federal is actually looks at fewer assets, but it determines the federal aid award, and it's used by most colleges. Okay, the institutional method accounts more assets, and it's used for institutional aid awards for like 300 colleges. And then there's a consensus. There's a bunch of consensus schools that are used by about 26 schools. Um, so the basic profile is this: is that it's the you'll see here is that it's the parents' income here. It's anywhere from 22 to 47% plus the assets of up to 5.64%. So that's of non-retirement assets, which is important to consider. So we're not talking about your 401ks, okay? But it does include your 529s, any investments and savings you have outside of it. So there's things to think about, for example, how much debt you have. So if you're paying debt, it actually could make sense to pay off the debt if you have a bunch of cash sitting in your account, because that doesn't count. Those assets will count against you. Okay, so then the parents' formula plus the students' assets. So we want to think about how much the student has in their name as well. But you'll see that with the students, it's actually a lot higher number is counted against them. So it's actually 50% of their income. There's like a protection allowance, but the point here is that it's a higher number. So we want to be careful about the income that is passed through the student. Okay. Also, any assets that the student has as well. So that's things like their bank accounts, their UGMA, that's the custodial accounts, and any other savings. So we want to think about how much money is in the student's name versus the parents' names. And so it's important to think about that. But it's basically the parents plus the students equals the total EFC. And but keep in mind, the EFC is not the amount your family will pay for college or get in federal aid. It's just the number used to calculate how much aid the student is eligible to receive. Okay. Other notes is that we want to think about grandparents and how they come in and what assets they provide. So if you give if grandparents may be well-intentioned and they give money to the student or puts money through a 529, it could be you have to think about the timing of that, okay? Because actually that'll count as student income, which is at 50%. So that's a higher amount. So we want to be very, very careful of that, okay? But the key takeaway is, so the savings and investing in parents' names has minimal impact on federal aid financial eligibility. Be careful. This is unfortunately, there's a lot of people that will talk about cash value plans because that doesn't count toward uh, the parent's assets, and so they may try to sell you on an insurance plan where they can put money into a, um, a whole life policy or like some type of insurance policy that has cash value. Um, it's not as great of a benefit as you think, and then you have to think about the costs that are involved with the insurance policy itself. That might be like the cost of insurance, just the maintenance fees, and you want to consider that. So if you're looking just to shield the 5.64%, that you might want to think differently about it. Okay, so